Welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads. I hope you're here to talk about my June TBR. Hold on one second, let me get my gloves on because I am the hardest working booktuber on the east side of the Mississippi, and that is a fact, Jack. So let's dive right in and talk about my June TBR. This is June on the Range. So welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads, and we're here today to talk about June on the Range, and particularly we're going to talk about four, yes, count them, four particulars when it comes to this reading event. First, we're going to talk about how the reading event is, who adopted it, and what it means. We're going to talk about my books that I plan to read in June if I'm not out there working like a dog. And we're going to talk about my change to Saturday shorts, as well as the final thing, and probably the thing you all are interested in most, is who I'm going to be buddy reading and what we are reading. And so let's kick it off with what June on the Range is. So, first and foremost, we're going to talk about what June on the Range is, and that was created by the one, the only Michael K. Vaughn at Vaughn Manor, and he is one fast draw, so you do not want to cross him, but he created this reading event several years ago where it encompasses reading more Westerns. In particular, you read something by the traditionals, Louis L'Amour and Zane Grey. And so that's really what it all kind of consists of, is getting everyone kind of corralled into reading more Westerns as we drive this thing out into the West. And I would like to point out that he has quite the posse this year. Steve Donoghue, Thomas McNulty, genre books, songs, and other magic, mystery, and mayhem. You do not want to cross Jim. He is one fast draw as well, and a hard man. And he also has a pretty lady in MJ from Reading This Life. You do not want to miss out on her. And so that is what this reading event is about. Let's kick it off and talk about what books I'm going to be reading as part of my June TBR. Lord, it's hot in this thing. Oh, don't mind me if I do. Let's talk about the books I'll be reading in the month of June. And we're going to kick it off with none other than the man himself, Louis L'Amour, who got me interested in Westerns. And lo and behold, book number 17 in the Saga series happens to hit in June. If that's not divine intervention, I don't know what is. And so we're going to be reading Lonely on the Mountain by Louis L'Amour, book 17, the Saga series. We started reading these in 2024, reading 2 a month. And yes, I think we started with around 10 in our posse, and we are only down to like 4 left. And so I believe Bing Lamb, myself, Hyde and Reed, and maybe our trapper, Graz, are the only ones still reading this. We have our own Discord, and man, it has had a lot of dust and tumbleweeds going through it because, yeah, everyone must be hard at work. And so the next book I'm going to be reading, and I figured, it's going to get a little cold at night. I might need something to spice me up. I'm going to be reading a gunsmith novel, and none other than Judgment at Fire Creek by J.R. Roberts. As you can tell, we got a little smooching going on there, so that should keep me nice and warm at night. And the next book I'm going to be reading was a recommendation by none other than the lovely Pat at Book Chat with Pat. She said, hey, Kevin, you ought to check out a Robert B. Parker novel, especially his first few books. I'm going to be reading Appaloosa, which is a Virgil Cole and Everett Hitch series. And so I am super excited about that. The other book that has been collecting dust on my bookshelves, and I have been remiss in not reading it before now, is Last Stand at Saber River by Elmore Leonard. Man alive, he can write a crime story. So I have very, very high expectations of him. And so the last book that I want to showcase here is a book that I got that actually has 3 books in it, but I'm going to be reading his most infamous one, and that is Riders of the Purple Sage by Mr. Zane Grey. And so I am very excited about reading that. And so now let's talk about what I'm going to do with my Saturday shorts in June. So let's talk about how Saturday shorts are going to work in the month of June for June on the Range. And so as you probably know, or maybe you're new here, that on Saturdays, I review Saturday shorts on the channel, usually taking one or two authors and reviewing short stories from different collections. And so I thought I would go out on a limb, but not too far, and review Western stories for each Saturday in June. And I thought I would rotate between 3 different authors. I'm going to start with this collection by Zane Grey, The Greatest Western Stories, and read and review Zane Grey short stories on Saturday. I would also pick some Western stories from Elmore Leonard in this complete collection of his Western stories and review on Saturday shorts, as well as I have an absolute plethora of Louis L'Amour collections I can choose from. So I will also be reading some Louis L'Amour Western short stories and reviewing them on Saturdays. And now, without further ado, let's dive right in and talk about the infamous Buddy Reed. And so now, gather round by the fire, because I know this is the reason you all here. I mean, I'm not what you call an intelligent man, but I am a well-read man, if you know what I mean. And so I'm going to be reading this book, The Cold Dish by Craig Johnson. This is the first book in the Walt Longmire series. I have talked about this on my YouTube channel for several months, and because of that, I made the mention that I would like to buddy read this with someone. And it got me thinking about this one quote that I heard when I was reading in a book, or maybe it was a movie, where it said, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. And so I got thinking, well, if I have one enemy in this world, it is none other than this man, Jay, from Faceless Book Reviews. And so we have a temporary truce right now for the month of June as we read The Cold Dish by Craig Johnson. I cannot believe I have gotten to this point where I love Westerns, and I'm going to buddy read with my arch nemesis in the month of June. And so that, my friends, is the buddy read, or should we call it the frenemy read? We're going to be reading The Cold Dish by Craig Johnson, book number 1 in the Longmire series. And I am very excited for the book, that is, because I'm going to keep my eye open while I sleep around Jay while we read this book, because I don't trust him as far as I can sling a steer, if you know what I mean. So let's end this video before I get lambasted in the comments for this terrible accent and terrible get up, because I am no actor. And yeah, that is my June on the range. I hope you enjoy this, and please be gentle in the comments, and I will talk to you all later. Be well, cowpokes.